Hi everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and I'm here today with the design team post for Scrapping for Less. Today I'm going to be using this adorable stamp set from LaLa Land Crafts. It is called Dream Come True, and it's got your knight and your princess and a couple dragons and then some super cute sentiments. Have a royal birthday, make a wish, my hero, be brave, and you are my dream come true, which is what I'm going to be using. So I thought it would be cute to have the knight kind of standing there with the princess in a thought bubble, and then have the sentiment be, you are my dream come true, kind of like he's dreaming about her. There I did it on the wrong side. I decided I wanted it, well, I guess it wasn't the wrong side, it's just I decided I wanted it on that side. So I have a cloud die that I cut some post-it note tape out and am going to use that to mask where the kind of the thought bubble is going to be when he's dreaming of her. And I thought that'd be really cute. But I'm also going to be using some distress inks after I mask these guys. So I do make masks of the two images as well, and I cut those out with my scan and cut. The distress oxides that I end up using for the sky were Salty Ocean, Worn Lipstick, and Broken China. For the ground I used Frayed Burlap and Vintage Photo, and for the grass I used Lucky Clover and Peeled Paint. And then I put a little bit of antique linen just in the bubble, in the thought bubble, just because I didn't want it to be so stark white. So I used a couple border stencils, clouds and a hillside one, so that I can kind of make this into a little more of a scene. So I started just putting some color there, but I was separating out where the sky and the ground were going to meet. So that's why I used that border there. And then I wanted the color to be really thick in the sky. So before I started using the cloud stencil, I actually just put color down where I was planning on putting the stuff, meaning the different colors. And then I just kind of alternated colors. I put the pink around the thought bubble because I just wanted that to kind of highlight it a bit. But otherwise I just went back and forth between the Broken China and the Salty Ocean. And I started at the top. You can do it a couple different ways, but I started at the top and just worked my way down. And distress oxides are great because they are so blendable, and even if you put something down too heavily somewhere or you do something you didn't like, you can most of the time blend it out. Now I did the same thing with the grass or the hillsides, where I just alternated the colors between the Peeled Paint and the Lucky Clover. And then right just where he was standing, I wanted to put a little bit like it was the ground, and that's where I used the Frayed Burlap and the Vintage Photo. And then again, I just blended it into each other. So even though I put those colors down there, I blended back over them with, like the ground, I blended back over it with the green with the peeled paint so that it kind of matched there. And then when you peel the masks off, you have just the images left to be able to color. So I thought those were super cute. And then I kind of used the other side of the cloud die to just kind of be able to mask around the area so that I could put that antique linen there. So it's really simple to use those stencils and to create really cool backgrounds with clouds and hills and all different things because of how easy they really are to use. It's also a lot easier if you tape down the stencils. I'm lazy and I don't want to do all of that extra work, so I just hold it there. So you may not always get a perfect crisp line if you do it that way, whereas if you actually tape it down, you're going to get a much better line. But since nature in itself is not perfect, I'm okay with that. Then I used the Copics to do the coloring. I did end up using two other markers. I used a blue, a B04, there's a slit in between the flagpole and the pole, and I just wanted that to match the sky more, so I just used a blue for that. And then I did not like the colors I chose for the hair. It just was not turning out the way I wanted it to. So I ended up kind of going over the whole thing and blending a lot of it out with E23. Now to go back to the stencil using the distress oxides just for a minute. I love using distress oxides because of they're so blendable when you're using the blending tools. And I just think they're fantastic to be able to do so many different things. Plus they're water reactive and you can do so many other things with them as well. But just as far as them being able to be so blendable, it's just fantastic. And I don't have, I want to say I have the first two sets, I believe. I know I haven't got the third or the fourth set. I did end up in different kits and things that came, got a couple of the additional colors, but I have to be honest, my go-to colors are always Vintage Photo, and then for skies it's the Broken China, Worn Lipstick, Salty Ocean. Sometimes I throw in a purple to do that, and then for grasses I think the Peeled Paint and the Lucky Clover. So I don't think you need every single one of them to be able to do this. I think you can just use what you got, but I just think, like I said, they are just so wonderful. Now here is, I decided I wanted to put those dots like it was a thought bubble, and I used Morning Dew Nuvo drops for it because I thought that would kind of be perfect. It also will pick up some of the color from underneath it. And then I just used my Crop-A-Dile to crop that. Now I will say, do not put your Nuvo drops on before you finish your card, because I was so lucky as I was doing this that I never stuck my arm on top of the card, which surprises me that I didn't, but I really didn't this time, because normally I do. So for the sentiment, I stamped it with some VersaFine ink, and I wanted to heat emboss it. So I had some black embossing powder. I believe it's Hero Arts. I think I got it in a kit one time. And then I just heat embossed that, and then I fishtailed it. And I wanted it to pretty much go across the card, so I made it the 4 inches when I did that. And then I ended up just cutting off a little bit more on the top of the sentiment. And there too, I'm so lucky I did not stick my arm right in those Nuvo drops before they were dry. So make sure you finish your card and tape it down to the base and do all the rest of your fun stuff before you stick that in there, because yeah, otherwise you end up probably screwing it up, which, like I said, I'm lucky I didn't do it this time, but normally I do. I took some puffy stickers that were some gold dots, and I used that, and then I did pop up the sentiment with some foam tape, and I just popped that right onto the bottom. I did end up putting the card base on because I put the tape on the card base and then just put the the card panel onto the card base like that. And so that is my card. I hope you enjoyed the video. And oh, of course I had to end it, especially since it was a little princess, with some Spectrum Noir sparkle pen and give it a little sparkle. So that's it. Thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you have a great day.